Hey, with all the weirdness and sinisterness last episode, you guys forgot to talk about all the romances.
Oh, didn't forget, Gigi. They didn't bring anything to the story and were a total distraction.
On that we agree, Commander. I mean, we knew Chapel was engaged to Corby from TOS, but did we really need to see that relationship? And Uhura's and Ortega's brother? There's nothing there. It just feels forced to give Uhura something to do this season. And as for Spock and his way too many escapades, great iridescent egg. Don't the writers understand Spock at all? But, you know what really rubbed me the wrong way? It was Mbege's attempt to regrow Gamble's eyes using off-the-shelf tech.
That's right, I totally forgot to mention that.
Messed up one of my favorite characters, who 100 years from then had to use a headband to see with. How come all your favorite characters seem to be engineers? Got a problem with that?
Guys. So, not only did that tech not exist in TNG, which is like 100 years in the future, but there was even a scene with Dr. Pulaski where she described a very experimental way to give Geordi functioning eyes.
Oh, which he turned down.
Yeah, but it shows the tech was on the fringe then, and not a regular solution that had been in use for 100 years.
That's the problem with prequels, keeping canon consistent. Now, I realize that's super tricky for a franchise that's nearly 60 years old, but frankly, the solution's obvious. Stop doing prequel series.
No matter how much I like Strange New Worlds' first season, I have to agree. That would solve so many problems. But, you know, despite such anachronisms, I had a blast with the last episode, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Maybe you shouldn't set your hopes up too high.
Why not? Is it because it's mostly a Kirk episode?
As far as I'm concerned, Kirk shouldn't be in this show at all. It's not his time.
But wasn't that the whole point of the episode? A highly ambitious man, desperate for command, suddenly getting what he wanted under the worst of circumstances, and having to live with the consequences of his decisions.
Yeah, that was interesting. But the Farragut's captain being a Vulcan, doesn't that destroy some established canon that Spock was the first Vulcan to join Starfleet?
That's never actually been officially established, Commander. In fact, TOS's second season episode, The Immunity Syndrome, mentions a ship, the USS Intrepid, manned entirely by Vulcans. So I don't think there's an issue at all with Kirk serving under a Vulcan captain. It seems to me you're trying to not like this episode, McCluck.
Oh yeah? Well, what about Captain Garovic? He was captain of the Farragut when it encountered a blood-sucking amorphous blob. So shouldn't he be in the chair now?
Well, if you recall, that happened when Kirk was a lieutenant. He's a commander now. So that event must have happened in the past, and Garovic was then replaced by Virel.
Well, you've got to admit it kind of works. As far as I'm concerned, the writers are just squeezing and stretching events to make prequels work within their own vision. After having established the problems of prequel series, I'm just kind of wondering what we're doing here, frankly.
Because done right, a prequel show can work, and Strange New Worlds has already done many interesting stories. Like, we've never seen Kirk's first day in command, and here we see him struggle. It's what he always wanted, just not under these circumstances. And yes, it was a little frustrating seeing him waver when we know Jim Kirk and what he's capable of. But the man he will become is a journey, and this was his first step. I enjoyed it. On the other side of the equation is what's going on the Enterprise.
Which was less than satisfying.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that.
Come on! The mechanical monster was interesting. It had strong shades of the Doomsday Machine. It was a monster of legends, made manifest. It was a great start, but it lacked... well, how shall I put it? Believability.
You're asking for believability in a sci-fi show which borders all too often on fantasy?
It needs to be believable within its own framework, Commander. Here we have this huge ship capable of destroying an entire planet with a single shot, with technology far beyond what the Federation has. That's a great premise. But then the problems start. We let her learn its crews by thousands, yet only 2 of them board the Enterprise. They could have and should have sent hundreds to overwhelm the crew and take what they needed. It felt way too sparse for such a powerful opponent. And the reveal was... I understand what they were going with the reveal, but it also made no sense. It's supposed to be this lost human ship that left Earth before warp drive had been invented. So, how did they make it to the edge of known space? How did they develop such vastly superior technology, and how did they get so big? Without warp drive, they wouldn't have gone very far at all. So it's not like they could have reached any other planets or acquired other species' technologies or anything like that with the time that they had and the speeds they could achieve.
Okay, but the shock realization that their opponents were human leads to a growing moment for Kirk, something which will affect him and his command going forward.
Okay, yeah, I like that a lot. And yet it also didn't gel. Just a few episodes ago, Pike, who's giving Kirk this amazing advice, was actually treating the Gorn as monsters. Hey, he even treated the scavengers in this episode as such as well. So where did he get that wisdom from? Didn't make sense. Oh, and how did they actually defeat the scavenger ship? What did throwing the Farragut's nacelles do to incapacitate it? It's never explained.
Are you actually complaining about a lack of technobabble? The thing they did worked. Shouldn't that be satisfying enough?
Well, good point. Although you have to admit, Ortega's maneuvering of the ship by telling Una and Mbega how much thrusters to use was ridiculous.
Okay, I'll grant you that. It certainly felt like she was just uttering numbers at random without knowing herself what she was saying or how it was affecting the ship. That was pretty naff.
And what was Mbega doing there anyway? Run out of patience to heal in sick bay?
Well, I guess they had to find something for him to do in this episode.
Well, it would be good if what they found for him made sense from the point of view of his skills and position.
So in the end, there were some good moments and some others that made little to no sense. Kirk's side of the story was surprisingly satisfying, while the Monster of the Week started intriguing, but the big reveal demystified it to the point that it made us scratch our heads.
Well, except it was used as a growing moment for Kirk.
But is that enough, though? TOS had many Monster of the Week episodes, so this is nothing new, and actually, it was quite a fun premise. I was just disappointed by the reveal, which actually didn't work when you think about it.
It was better than average, though.
Agreed. So I'm awarding the Sulla who ate his tail 2.5 paws. Do let us know what you thought in the comments, and if you like what we do,
And how we do it.
And you feel you'd like to help us out, please consider joining our Patreon.
As long as you can afford it, of course.
We'll leave a link to it in the description and pinned comment.
thanks for watching. See you all next time, and until then, live long
And Klaatu, Barada, Nikto.
Yes, it was a little frustrating seeing him waver, like when... Oh, for fuck's sake.